Switch chat room, take 1.
What is the first word that comes to mind when you think about God?
That he's holy.
Loving.
Big.
The first word that comes to my mind is present.
I think it's God as loving. I know for me, I've just been definitely embraced by all that he's done for me, just like with the people that he's put in my life and all the opportunity and like a family that loves me and like just being able to have that. I mean, I'm grateful for it every day.
I'd say holy because I kind of think of that like of the Holy Ghost and then just like always feeling like his presence like everywhere I go.
And like the first word that comes to mind is present, because I feel like a lot recently I've like been reminded constantly that he's always with me, that like no matter what I'm doing or where I'm going, like he's always there and he's always available. Like, you know what I mean? I'm never alone.
Whenever I was a little kid, I used to think God as like a big old person, just like, hey God, stuff like that. But I think God is a big person. Not just a person, but the Trinity, Holy Spirit, Jesus, and God.
Yeah, I think like before I was a Christian, I was like, yeah, the big man upstairs. Like I always acted like I knew him whenever I really didn't. And that's what I would reference him as, was the big man upstairs.
Say there were definitely times where I was like, man, am I sure like God is like my friend or times? Because right now in the spot I'm in, I don't feel loved or like everything could be going better, but it's not. Like, why is this happening to me? And like, I'm praying to God, but nothing is getting better. Why won't anything change kind of thing? And
well, for me, it's like, whenever what you said, it was like, I always thought that God was always mad at me for what I did. But then I realized I was like, he's a loving God.
The common theme is like just that God felt distant, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't always there. He wasn't always like listening or willing to, you know, help.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
What was some of the biggest things that informed your view of God or influenced your view of God when you were growing up?
Say definitely being a part of the church. I mean, all my life I've been connected, but having also like close friends and like my mom and my dad both like pursuing like a relationship in God, trying to help me pursue a relationship in God, just really just changed my mindset. Like, oh, these people are happy, they're being loved, and they're spreading joy. If I can do that, I'm definitely going to go for it. And so I'd say that's something that's always been in my mind.
Seeing God do so many different things in other people's life kind of made me wonder. I was like, okay, so maybe he's, you know, not so bad after all. Because him doing so many blessings in other people's lives, it kind of encouraged me and influenced me. Like, hey, God, you know, I'm sorry I thought this way about you.
Yeah, growing up, I never really had anyone that like believed in God or like truly like followed him. And so I'd say like for me, it was like my friends really pushed me to come like to church on Wednesdays and on Sundays and stuff. And so I think from there, like the first time I ever went to church on Wednesday was the time that I started building my relationship with him. And it's just, I've grown friendships from the church and just kind of leaned on them to help me grow my faith.
Yeah, I think that on like the negative side of that, a lot of like my view growing up on God was like, you could like follow him after you were done being a teenager and after you know, like, oh, I'll follow God when I'm grown up and like I'm ready to settle down and stuff like that. But what like changed that for me was like, whenever I would put like a little bit of faith in him and then like he would do something with it, you know what I mean? So it would be like, oh, I guess I'll go to church this one time, and then like I feel his presence that time, and then you're like, okay, I think I'll give a little bit more, like, you know what I mean? So I think that was just kind of the process for me.
Yeah.
What are some of the things or people that are most influencing your view of God right now?
That's it for me. Started reading a new book that Natalie gave me. It was Crazy Faith by Michael Todd. And I'm not that far into it. I'm only like 2 chapters in, but even just there, it's kind of opened my mind to just all the things that I doubt that I can't do, and all the things like, oh, like maybe people with like a lot of power or just have like maybe closer to God, they can do those things. But me, I'm like, why would I be able to do like the things that I want to do? Why do I think that, oh, you know, I would never get to where I want to be in life?
I'm actually reading a Bible plan right now. and it's actually the fully devoted one that for Switch, and I'm on the church. And reading that has changed my perception of God so much. Just like, it was just so apparent that like he was always keeping his promises. He was always like chasing after the people, even after they had disobeyed thousands of times. So that's really shaping my.
I want to say just the whole book of Proverbs, because it gives you so much wisdom and knowledge to the point where you could just share that wisdom and knowledge to one another and be like, hey, you know, it says this in the book of Proverbs, you shouldn't do this, but at the same time, you should be aware of what the book of Proverbs says, because it tells you how to live and how to do stuff and like not to be a fool is what fools do to one another and all.
For me, I have this friend named Jake, and I feel like he brings all of our friends like to like a realization of like what it actually says in the Bible versus like our thoughts, like as being like a human. Like just because our feelings like say to do this, that doesn't mean that it's right to do, because Jesus says like not to do this, and he goes against it. And so I think he's the one that has been drawing like me closer recently.
What hindrances do you need to remove to help you see God more clearly?
For me, I definitely say that it's some of my friends that view like God as just, oh, he's not even there. Like, why do I have to believe in something that you believe in? I'm just living life and I don't have to like listen to anybody. But when I hang out with like people like that, I tend to just almost take like influence from them. And it's like, I can recognize that it's bad for me. And so it's something that I work on to just stay away from.
Usually for me, it's like apps like TikTok, Instagram, that type of stuff. Because I can get so caught up on it, and I'm using that free time just scrolling for hours and hours. I'm not even reading my word like I'm supposed to, or be praying. Like I can use that free time to pray, to save someone, you know, to read the word, to get knowledge and wisdom. But instead, I'm using this time to go on Instagram and swipe for hours.
I definitely say the same thing for me. Like I'd been taking my free time like away, like from just like my phone or just talking to people, and just taking the time to read my Bible and like really get in touch with Jesus and build my relationship from there.
For me, it's whenever I am thinking too deeply like into things that are happening about my life that it's hard for me to think like kingdom minded, you know what I mean? Just to like realize that my purpose is to like lead people closer to Jesus. And so like I get so caught up in like the little things, like a little fight or like somebody did something to make me mad, and then I forget like that the way I respond to that is so important, because that is what is going to show them Jesus.
What would you say is your favorite thing that you've learned about the character and nature of God so far?
He is an all-loving God, and even though it's like we're humans, like he puts up with us when we throw huffs and fits and all of this, like when we don't get what we want. I just think it's kind of cool, and it influences me to be more like Jesus, to love one another, to be patient with one another.
I'd say for me, it's kind of he shows up in like when I least expect it all the times. And it's such like a good feeling when he does, because I'm like, I wasn't even asking for you to be here, and you're here right beside me, supporting me and like healing me, even when I didn't ask for it. And it's just, it's good to know that he's there right beside me, even when I least expect it.
I think for me, it was that he's literally always working in our lives, like no matter what, like he's always like being there for everyone. And like I'll talk to my friends and then they're like, oh, this is how like God has moved me today. But like the same thing like literally just happened to me like 5 minutes ago. And then we share like the same connection, and then it all just like goes together, and it's just like freaky.
So I've been on this kick about just like really being authentic and genuine to myself. Like I love to be myself, and like I love when other people embrace like who I am. And so I think that it's so cool that like God made me this way. Like he made me interested in all my passions, and like he knows like all my little quirks, and like he loves them, and like he wants me to use them. And I think that is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
What is one thing that you learned from this conversation?
Me looking at God now as I was younger, it's like my younger self was like, oh, he's big and everything. Like, he's gonna be mad at me if I did this and that. But now that I look back at it, I'm like, chill out. If I just chill out. Because he's an all-loving God and he forgives. That's just kind of what made me happy, is that he forgives and that I am saved.
I think just that, like, all of our perspectives on God, like, while, like, as you read the Bible and get to know God, like, they line up, but they're also really different. We all have different experiences and stuff like that. And the crazy thing is, like, that's, like, one of the most important things about us, is that, like, how we view God.